Give me your blessings, for I have sneezed. Hello diddly, how's it hanging? I'm nice and cozy here in bed, toes tucked, fingers are typing. No, I'm actually just doing some reading. All my coursework is done now, so I've got no more essays or anything like that for uni. All I've got to do is revise for my exams, which are at the end of this month, so like 2 weeks time. I figure the best way to do that is just to read around the topic, read books and papers that are relating to the things that we've been learning about, and then reference back to the notes I have from all of our lectures. Honestly, I'm not really sure if it's the best way to prepare for them, but I'm not too worried about it, and the readings are interesting. So. Right now I'm reading a paper on behavioural genetics and child temperament. Essentially, if you have one child who is an absolute angel, plays with all other children nicely, has lots of friends, is good to talk to, and another child who just runs around being a little shit all day, how much of that difference between them is decided by their genes. It's pretty interesting stuff. I am listening to Bach. I find classical music enables me to be the most productive while I'm studying. Definitely anything with lyrics I find distracting if I'm trying to read or write, and something about the atmosphere that classical music creates just makes me focus better. It's almost like it creates an atmosphere of intellectualism that then motivates me more to work on these intellectual pursuits. And I find that with different types of music in different contexts. It's almost like playing the correct soundtrack for the movie that matches with the character that you want to be at that time. The character, which is an aspect of yourself that best suits the environment that you're in, the task that you're trying to achieve. So yeah, right now I'm going to try and read 1 or 2 papers. You know the drill. It's time-lapse time. I think I'm going to have a problem with this, that the more comfortable I become with the structure of these videos, the more meta they're going to become as I start narrating what's going on in the edit in real time. We're just going to have to deal with it. Meta vlogs. How's the angle? Suitable for a time-lapse? Sweet, just read 2 papers. They were interesting actually. I think what I found to be the most interesting thing was the idea that child temperament, so the behaviour of a child, has different consequences for a child depending on the context of its environment. So that little shit type of child that I imagined earlier, you could class a child like that under the broad temperamental label of difficult. You'd say they're a difficult child. That means that they're harder to manage, they're louder, they have greater negative reactions to things, and they're more intense. Now in Western society, that difficult temperament tends to be a problem. It's associated with negative consequences for that child because of the way that a difficult child will be treated by their parents, their peers, their teachers, everyone in their life, and the way that they will react to stimulus and shape the interactions that they have. Being difficult is not a good adaptive trait to have. But during the study of the Maasai people in like 1974, these Western psychologists were studying Maasai infants when a drought hit. This drought was bad news for the Maasai people, and of the 13 families that the psychologists were studying, 7 of them had children die. Now the psychologists had already been measuring the temperament of those children, and what they predicted was that, in line with what you would expect from Western societies, that easy children would, as usual, have an adaptive advantage and be more likely to survive, whereas being difficult would be a maladaptive trait and be more likely to lead to death. But of the 7 children that died, 5 of them were easy children. Now, this is far too small of a sample size to be drawing definitive conclusions from. But what it suggests is that those traits that are usually associated with negative outcomes in that context, in that society and in that time of hardship, turned out to be a positive adaptive set of traits. And there are many possible reasons for this. The Maasai pride themselves on being a warrior people and have a proud warrior class, and so traits like assertiveness and aggression, while discouraged in Western society, are encouraged in the Maasai society, which may mean that children with those traits would be treated preferentially. What's more is that at a time of hardship where resources like food and water are going to be harder to come by, being a difficult child, being one that cries more, is louder, more difficult to manage, might actually end up being given more food, more water, and being more likely to survive than the unfortunately nice child who was quiet and easy despite starving. I've kind of just given you a short psychology lecture, but I thought that was super interesting, the idea that certain traits, even those that are normally thought of as negative, have their time and have their place. There are times for quietness, for respectfulness, and those traits should be valued highly, but there are also times for assertiveness, and there are times for aggression. Every behaviour has its place. We're going to go out for a spot of training.
Something bad is about to happen to me. so sad, might leave my nose running. I just hope she don't wanna leave me. Don't you give me up, please don't give up on me. I belong with you, only you, baby. Only you, my girl, only you, baby. Only you, darling, only you, baby. Only you, my girl, only you, baby. Only you, darling, only you.
Ooh. I've now seen two people, Max and Toby, take some heavy bounces on this 180. Hey, there we go. Jesus. I reckon it'll get a lot easier as we get warmer. Fuck me, why am I finding this so hard? I feel angry today. I don't know why. I don't really have anything to be angry at, but I just feel... use the aggression. Let's use the aggression. Like I said earlier in this video, there's a time and place for aggression. This is it. Oh yes, okay, it's gone. Oh, wee. Alright, I'm done. I've been defeated, but I will be back. Yo, I've got to keep this quick. I'm trying to squeeze every minute of studying I can get out of my day. My exam's start in just a few days, so I'm feeling the pressure. But a few days ago I got contacted by a photographer from a sports magazine. They've been doing a whole series on shooting athletes training during lockdown. He's down today to shoot me and Lynn, so I'm going to head out now to meet him at a roof gap that I want to do for the shoot. It's a pretty intimidating upwards roof gap, big drop, and it's also on top of a supermarket which is still open during lockdown, so there's a pretty high chance that security is going to be an issue. I guess this guy is used to shooting conventional sports, so it's going to be interesting what he makes of this. What time is it? Let's go! There are supermarket employees like right next to the entrance point to the roof right now, so we've kind of slyly walked past Plan B. That looks so awkward. Oh yeah, that works. So this is the gap that I want to do, coming off this roof over upwards to this one. Can you see it wobbling? Yeah. It's not the most stable wall.
I don't think it's that. I mean, it's always been wobbly, but I don't remember it being like this.
Just making sure my power is there, just really getting into my head, that explosivity, that knee drive, because the landing wall is fucking wobbly. I think that as long as I land directly on top of the wall, just tap it on my way over, I'll be fine. There's really no option for failure. It has to be perfect. I'm feeling good. I'm going to go over to the other roof and have a look at the takeoff. Oh fuck, that's not good. What we've got here is seagull nests right where the run-up is. What this means is that the seagulls come and attack you. Literally, they're like fucking dive bombing you. And the problem is, they're protecting their eggs, but because their nest is literally that right there, which is where my run-up is, they're gonna be fucking dive bombing me as I'm trying to look at it. Yeah, honestly, I don't think I'll be able to do this. Fuck's sake! This is literally like such a problem because I've got to be looking at where my feet are going, or I'm going to fall off a fucking roof. And there's seagulls attacking me from above. Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is a no-go. I thought security was going to be the problem. It's fucking seagulls. That's Brighton for you. I can't be trying to focus on that with like seagulls hitting me as I'm taking off. Alright, well, there is a backup spot where there is a front flip roof gap that I could do. So I think we're going to have to head there instead and hope that there's no seagulls. Do some prep. Do one preparatory, just jump again. What's best for you with timing? Is like a countdown useful? Or... Alright, sweet, sweet. Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Doesn't annoy me. Got a little audience, always nice when local people aren't aggro. Now for the send. So, I think that's me done. I missed you guys. Sorry it's been so long since the last video. I got some nice messages from a bunch of you saying that you wanted more. And here we are, we back. Yeah, cheers for being here. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos and I will have more for you next Sunday morning.